let's get your name and why you're here today.
My name is Crystal Holder, and I came today to support the pro-life movement that they had going on today.
And Crystal.
Crystal,
And
yes.
Crystal, you used to work at Planned Parenthood.
Yes.
Um, when did you start working at Planned Parenthood? What did you do, and how long were you there?
I started working at Planned Parenthood close to the beginning of the year, and I was their manager of the Winston-Salem office, and I stayed for about 6 to 7 months.
And why did you start working at Planned Parenthood?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, the money. It was very, very lucrative, and I needed to help support my mom and dad as well as my family too. And the amount of money that was offered, it just seemed like too good to pass up. So,
And did you have an opinion either way about abortion?
I did.
Okay, what was that?
I've never believed in abortion, which is kind of hypocritical considering that I went to work at Planned Parenthood. Um, but I was always pro-life. But when I got hired, they said I didn't have to see that end of it because I was the manager. So it was going to be more paperwork, managing employees, and things like that. But that wasn't the case.
Can you elaborate on that?
If employees were absent that day, I would have to fill in for them. I had to be able to do my job as well as everyone else's. And so that means assisting in the back with abortions, hand holdings with patients, moving the POC, which is products of conception, going through that to make sure all the pieces were removed from the mother, counting the parts, the baby parts, making sure they were bagged properly and put in the freezer, things like that.
Okay, so when you started, I mean, you were pro-life when you started working at Planned Parenthood. What eventually made you want to leave?
The nightmares when I couldn't sleep anymore at night. I have a 6-year-old daughter, and I would always have nightmares of her being like mutilated because that's what I saw every day was that at work. And I was in with a patient, and she was too far along. We were only allowed to abort up to 13 weeks and 6 days, but this patient was well over 14, and the baby wouldn't fit through the hose, the cannula, and it was horrible. It was a big mess. She started screaming. There was pieces. It was something out of a horror movie, um, and it just and then when I had to go into the POC to count the parts, it was so well formed. It made me get like physically sick.
So when the clinic that you worked at, did people, were there ever people like today, like marches outside or people sort of standing there in opposition outside? Were there people who did that outside
Like
the
the
clinic?
pro-life groups.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, they were there a lot of the time, and they were actually very sweet people. They didn't really bother anybody. They just spoke calmly and lovingly to people. I would bring them coffee or hot chocolate outside if it was cold or raining. Um, but yeah, we had those folks all the time, and they tried to talk to the women coming in, and they tried to talk to us about leaving.
Did you speak to many of them?
No, we were told that if we spoke to them, then we would get fired. I mean, I brought them coffee and stuff, but that was kind of off the record.
So, you said that you did like some hand holding with patients there. So you were obviously speaking to women who were coming in to have abortions done. Did they ever speak to you about how they felt about, about people who were doing this kind, like the marches today, like the pro-life group?
Actually, no, they never really mentioned them because our pro-life folks that were out there, they were always pleasant, so there really wasn't any complaints to be had for them. They never said anything bad about them.
And so speak to me about, since you've left, what you've been doing. Like what do you do for work now?
Oh, sure.
What does life look like?
Life's a lot different, especially monetarily. It's a lot different than it was. I was making 70,000 a year there, plus bonuses. They paid for my cell phone bill. I've got a monthly allowance on a credit card. It was nice, and now I make $13 an hour, being an optometric assistant. So I help people get eyeglasses and contacts and everything. So it's a big change, but it's worth it because I can sleep. I'm happier, and I just feel better about life. I'm not depressed anymore. I had depression because of it. It was bad.
anything else that you think you want to add?
Did you? Sorry, I was trying to coordinate the next question. Did you talk about like the march and how like your feelings about it?
Yeah, actually that's the point. So the match today, tell me what you were doing. I know that you were up on stage. How did you feel like today went?
It was wonderful. There was so much support and so much love from all these people, and I got here late, so I wasn't able to actually march the streets, but I was able to get up on stage and listen to people talk, and I was able to address the crowd. And honestly, I was kind of a little apprehensive because being from the other side of the fence, being someone from Planned Parenthood, I was afraid that maybe I wouldn't be welcomed in, or some people would have some bitterness towards me, and I was met with the complete opposite of that. I was met with love and acceptance, and it was amazing. It was amazing. It felt like I gained a whole new family. It was amazing.
And what are your views about Planned Parenthood clinics now? In the entirety of what they do, not just in terms of abortion providing.
I think that they do good in the fact that they do provide STD testing and drug treatment for STDs for free. And they do provide free birth control, to prevent things from happening. And I think that is great. I think anytime that somebody with, limited means or a low income comes in and they need medication for, a disease or infection they have, if they're able to get their medication for free, that's a good thing. I think that part of them is good, but they do lie and say that, the things that you hear about us, this is them, it's not true. It is true. They have sold baby parts. They do late term abortions. So they also tell a lot of lies, and they don't give the women enough information, enough education to make a good decision that's going to support them later. They're very driven on money. So I have mixed feelings about that.
Can you describe to me why you're pro-life? Like, explain to me your reasons.
Well, I know that not everybody's Christian, and I respect that. But I don't believe God makes mistakes at all. And I think if God blesses us with a baby, we were meant to have that baby for whatever reason. And if we feel that we cannot have that baby, there's plenty of people that would love to have that baby. I don't feel like that human beings are smart enough, spiritual enough, or capable enough to play God. And when you make a decision to end a life that God gave you, I think that you're in terms trying to play God, and none of us are up for that.
And kind of two more quick questions.
Yeah.
So you worked at Health Provider, Planned Parenthood. What is your response to women who might be seeking an abortion for health reasons? If it's going to be dangerous to the life of the woman who's pregnant if she carries the child.
My thoughts of that are maybe a little different. I believe that if it's threatening the mother's life, and it's 100% guarantee that the mother will pass if she carries that baby, and the baby will pass. I understand abortion, but I would advise them to make sure and to get second opinions, and to make sure that they know of the possible prognosis before they make a hasty decision of murder. I just make sure that you know what you're doing.
And last question, how do you feel about the way that today was organized in terms of getting all these different groups together and kind of the way that everything put together? Why did you think it was effective, and if so, why?
Yes, I do, from the limited view that I had of it, because I did arrive late, unfortunately, but it seemed like there were a few different groups that came, and everybody just kind of fit together like pieces of a puzzle, and they were able to talk to folks down at Latrobe, and they were able to have mothers come up on stage. So I feel that it all came together and fit together very well, and it was a very positive thing. I think a lot of lives would have been changed. I know mine was, so I think a lot of people were too.
Great. Thank you.